Hello. So, this is an article I recently pitched to vocal.media. And in case anyone has difficulty reading a screen or would rather just listen to it in a podcast form, I'm presenting it as a video here. The critique of artistic production amidst the zombie apocalypse, or Robert Neville's last stand. I think there is no better scene in cinema which explicates the predicament of an artist or indeed a scientist when faced by the Philistinic denial and ignorance of a mob than the dramatic end of Robert Neville's life in I Am Legend, the 2007 post apocalyptic zombie horror movie. The zombies, having identified the house where Neville and his friends are holed up in, assault it en masse, isolating the group of survivors in the basement where the experiment to make a vaccine is underway. Neville, played by Will Smith, in a last desperate attempt to show the assaulting mob that he has a cure, displays one of their own, whom the vaccine has been administered to and who is indeed beginning to appear human again, i.e., her vital signs are stabilizing, her breathing is becoming normal, etc. But of course, the mob still don't get it. Resigning himself to the situation, the lead protagonist asks Anna and Ethan, the two survivors who were with him, to escape from the back through the underground tunnel and drive till they find the place of safe haven advertised on the radio. In the basement, the sheet of glass that separates Neville and the mob, cracking under the assault of them mindlessly smashing their heads against it, is the primal scene, as it were. An artist, a scientist, a politician with a new deal attempting to confront an assembly who want nothing more than to destroy the edifice of such an operation. Indeed, to those who may be students and practitioners of psychoanalysis, an analogy of a child confronting a parent regarding a promise. Yet, if you notice, we never actually see what happens after the glass breaks. Why is this? In a sense, this is the situation which contemporary capitalism places every innovator in at some point. To this machine that is capitalism, the only thing that matters is for the product to be sold. We never see what actually happens after the glass breaks because that is the tension which sustains the tragic narrative of the film, which allows it to present itself as art. It is the very tension, the gap that allows a tragic zombie movie about a cure being manufactured in a basement laboratory to be made, to witness the events spoken of in the voiceover of the film at the end about the vaccine being administered through planes, etc., would mean that it would not be a movie about an apocalypse, but one about redemption of a cure. Can we not see within such a scenario how capitalism requires in its very infantile assemblages, its organization of differences, the threat of violence to sustain a situation where the mass production of simply inane things and the ritualization of their consumption can continue? To make the same point at the level of stupid millennial acronyms, YOLO, this predisposition to try anything simply because of an idiotic recognition of one's mortality is, of course, an idiotic sentiment promoted by mass digital culture to get you to pay money for services and goods your life would do very well without. Yet, at another level, do we not see here in this scene the fate of what Nietzsche describes as the last man in his magnum opus, Thus Spoke Zarathustra? The last man says we have discovered happiness and blinks. Is this not, at its very core, the definition of what a zombie is? A mindless automaton whose only drives are the basic animal need to feed, which perhaps can be sublimated into the sugar fueled rush to try anything new. In this sense, when Nietzsche was describing the loss of faith in Christian Europe and allegorizing the characters that it produced, he was from within the circumstances of his historical moment confronting a zombie apocalypse. Indeed, in a prophetic moment, was addressing all the apocalypses to come. Here I maintain that Nietzsche was a progressive, even in the Delante sensibilities, and we should, or rather, our job as philosophers is to recover his example, his breach into metaphysics. He confronts, in the sheer brutality of the encounter, what becomes of a society without an organizing principle, be it in faith, government, or vocation, and provides, before any party is remotely cognizant of the scene, an ideological critique of culture and individuals who are produced by and reproduce it. This, I believe, is an example that the left has to learn from. In confronting what is depicted as apathy and chaos in society, the role of art has been, in the absence of religion, to provide allegories which allow us to revision how we see our present situation. Yet this medium can and does often fall into hands which use it as an instrument of propaganda. Here it is the task of philosophy to provide critiques not merely of representations and their uses, but of the situations which permit these representations to perpetuate themselves. In other words, there can be no critique of art which does not take into account the circumstances of its production. This is the article that I pitched to them. If you appreciate it being presented in this form, let me know. Of course, you have the comments below. Hit the like button. You can subscribe to this channel. And let me know if you would like similar material presented to you. And have a nice day.